In February of 2016, I was summoned to a meeting with the head coach of Rowing Ireland. I was feeling anxious because I had an idea of what was going to be said. We exchanged some awkward pleasantries before he broke the news. He said, "Aifric, you've shown some small sparks of speed here and there, but ultimately, I don't think you have what it takes to be a high-performance athlete." So we were 5 months away from the Rio Olympic Games, and I was essentially not only told goodbye and good luck, but I was also told, don't bother coming back. And obviously, spoiler alert, we all know here that I did eventually go to the Olympics. So in the interest of keeping this entertaining, I would love to say that the conversation ended out with me storming out of the room saying, "I'll show you." But I didn't. Instead, I said, "Yeah, you're probably right. Thanks very much for everything and all the best at the Olympics." Because the truth is, the Olympics never really was my big dream in life, because I didn't think it was a possibility for me. There were far better athletes around me who had tried and failed. So realistically, why would I be the one to make it? But somehow I did. So, how did I do it? How did I turn all of this around to be able to stand here in front of you today as a two-time Olympian with an Olympic medal? Well, after that meeting, I felt really embarrassed, I was disheartened, but mostly I was just really annoyed at myself. I had wasted time, energy, and money. You see, Ireland had never won an Olympic medal in rowing at this point. So who the hell did I think I was, chasing this pipe dream? Fast forward a couple of months, and I found myself getting emotional watching Ireland win its first ever Olympic medal in rowing, when Gary and Paul O'Donovan won silver at the Rio Olympics. So all of a sudden, this pipe dream seemed a little bit more realistic, because if they can do it, why can't I? So I was motivated to give it another go, but I knew I had to set some ground rules to follow for the next 4 years. I wanted to set up my life in a way that I could give this my full attention. I moved house to be closer to the rowing centre. I was only going to take on work that would cater for my training hours, but also finance this thing. And I also vowed to do my talking on the water. In other words, I never wanted to be the athlete that was complaining about not getting selected, not getting coached, and to rephrase it all as, this is an amazing opportunity, and my performance is my responsibility. If you ask ChatGPT what makes the perfect high-performance athlete, it will say that they possess a combination of physical, mental, emotional characteristics. But let's be real. The perfect athlete does not exist. No one ticks all the boxes. We all have our own strengths and weaknesses that are unique to us and that they shape our own personal journeys. And the one trait that certainly isn't listed by ChatGPT, but is something that I heavily relied on over the years, is being a realist. It's the ability to step back, analyze, reshuffle, map out a new way to go. And it's something that I relied on so much throughout my career. It kept me grounded and allowed me to show up every day and to perform consistently. It's the ability to balance ambition with realism. Qualifying for Tokyo was a mammoth task with so many speed bumps in the road along the way. I fell into this routine for the first 2 years where I was eat, sleep, train, eat, sleep, go to work, repeat. Honestly, it's a blur. I was on autopilot. I was just trying to stay healthy, stay injury-free, and to gradually get faster. And in 2018, I finally had my breakthrough moment. Emily Hegarty and I, another Cork woman, came sixth at the World Championships, and that was Ireland's best result to date in our division. It finally felt like everything was falling into place. But now comes the second speed bump in the road. I found myself being admitted to hospital and getting diagnosed with blood clots in my lungs. We were months out from qualifying for the Olympics, and I was sitting in a hospital bed, distraught at the thought that the dream was all over. The Olympics is so consuming that it's only now when I look back and I realize I just should have been grateful that I was alive. But instead, in my head, I was mapping out, what do I need to do to get back into that boat as soon as possible? You know, amongst the chaos of a hospital stint, countless x-rays, scans, injections, medications, weeks and weeks of checkups and appointments, I was able to step back, refocus, and map out my new road to the Olympic Games. So, we have been told that I wasn't good enough. A life-threatening illness that nearly derailed it all. What's next? A global pandemic. Like the rest of the world, we were working from home, but in a much different capacity. We were still training 2 to 3 times a day, virtually through Zoom. Our coaches were there giving us feedback through the headphones. We really could not afford to take the foot off the gas. Not only did we have to survive this period, we had to learn how to thrive, because we still were not qualified for the Olympic Games. But thankfully, finally, we got over all those speed bumps, plus many more, and we eventually qualified for the Olympic Games. It went ahead almost 12 months after it was scheduled originally, which meant that I had to wait 2 years from the day that I sat in that hospital bed for an opportunity to race for a spot at the Olympics. And the Olympics themselves were amazing. People talk about Tokyo as if it was a sad and empty games. There was no fans at the venues. And it sounds cliche, but Emily, Emer, Fiona, as well as our coach Giuseppe, we were a dream team. We didn't need the crowds. We raced really well in the opening round, and all of a sudden, people started talking about this last-minute Irish 4. On paper, we were fast enough to win a medal. But that means absolutely nothing when you line up for that Olympic final. So we started our race, true to form in that we were behind. And it's my job in the race to read it as it's unfolding and give feedback to the girls. So at 750 meters to go, when we were in 5th place, and I told them where we were, I felt an immediate response from them in the water. Emer made a decision to call our wind-up early. No one doubted her for a second, and we executed it as one. We went through trying it quite quickly, which brought us up to 4th place. GB were next. We were gaining momentum at this point, and I called out, "Hear them," which is half a sentence, but the girls knew that that meant we were catching up and I could start to hear them. A couple of strokes later, when we were building more momentum, I called out, "See them," just as I could start to see GB's stern in the corner of my eye. We were well known for our slow starts in a race, but we were also really well known for our fast finishes. And I made the decision to call out nice and clear and loud to the girls so they could hear what I was saying. But I also wanted GB to hear me too. I wanted them to know we were coming. So we were winding, and we were passing them out. And when you're getting passed out in a rowing boat, or when you're passing out a crew in rowing, it's almost like you have this free energy or speed. But when you're the one that's being rowed through, it's the opposite, and the energy is being sucked out of you. The second I saw that our bow went ahead, I called, "Through them." I was letting the girls know, and them know, that we were in the bronze medal position with 250 meters of the race left. We were pushing and pushing all the way to the line. We heard the finish buzzer go off, and we did it. We were Olympic medalists. So the grandstand was empty for our ceremony, but it didn't matter. I looked up and I gave a wave to the crowd. I thought of all the people at home that were up during the night watching our race. It wasn't the perfect performance, but it was enough. And it's crazy to think that we really were realistic medal hopes for the team that year. But so many medal hopes go to an Olympic Games, and it just doesn't materialize for whatever reason. It takes something really special for all the pieces to fall into place and to perform on that one important day. We were the first medal for the team at Toyko. We were the first ever female team Olympic medal for Ireland. We were the first ever women's Olympic medal in rowing for Ireland. And we doubled the number of female Olympic medalists from 4 to 8 in just one race. And when I say all that out loud, I still struggle to comprehend that it's true. But in the same way that Gary and Paul's medal sparked the belief for me, I just hope that our medal has done the exact same for the next generation of Irish Olympians. Because it is a realistic dream now for Irish rowers. It's possible. So we came home from Tokyo, and the first question that I was always asked was, are you going to go again? Have you got your sights set on Paris 2024? And now the plan was always to retire after Tokyo, but when the time came to it, I found it a bit more difficult. Rowing Ireland was on the up. We were winning lots of medals, but I slowly started to realize that medals don't always make you happy. There has to be more than that. So it got me thinking. I needed to have more than just that ambition. And we were coming back as Olympic medals. We could be as ambitious as we wanted. But that won't fuel the over 1,000 training days, over 2,000 training sessions, countless trials, erg tests, bad days, good days, injuries. There was so much to get through before we got to the Olympic Games. On that second year of the Paris cycle, I spent over 9 months training exclusively on an indoor bike. Plenty of time to think this through and through. Some days, I hoped the decision was taken out of my hands and that the injury would be career-ending. But I also wanted that other Olympic medal. I still had those nagging thoughts of guilty feelings of missing family occasions, the strain that this lifestyle can put on relationships with loved ones and friends. But I asked myself, how will you feel in July 2024 watching your teammates race in an Olympics without you? Will you be at peace with your decision, or will you say, that could have been me? So I made the decision that I didn't want to be on the sideline, and Fiona and I were selected to race in the pair for our second Olympic Games. This time we were coming back as Olympic medalists, so we really had the belief that we could do it again. We had a great season, and we were picking up medals along the way. But that week in Paris was horrific. Something that we're still processing, something just didn't click for us. We got through the heat, we saw the draw for the semi-final, we were happy with it. We had raced and beaten all but one of the crews that we had to race. On paper we could do it, but again, that means absolutely nothing when you line up to race. So the race came and went, and we came last. We didn't just miss out. We didn't just lose by photo finish. It hurts to say that we were so far off from qualifying from that final. We felt like we let ourselves down and our coach down. You start to question, is it my fault? What else could we have done? So many friends and family came over to support us, and we were just embarrassed, and we were pissed off, and we were sad. We'll never really know what happened that week, and that's probably the toughest pill to swallow. But we had to put on a brave face because some of our team members were still in the running to win an Olympic medal. So we packed it away for the moment, and we went on to support them. And we had an amazing second week at the Paris Olympics from the other side of the fence. Then we went home. We parted ways with those we spent every waking moment with. We said goodbye to our roommates. We went from eating every meal at a table of 10 to just being at home. There's no alarm clocks, there's no training sessions, there's no plan, there's literally nothing. Those post-Olympic blues will get everyone. They'll get athletes, coaches, staff, they'll even get the medal winners. People check in with you, they tell you how proud they are of you, and honestly, you just don't want to hear about it. But I knew when I went back for that second Olympic medal that there was just as much chance, if not more, that we wouldn't win one. Because it just doesn't work out for everyone. It can't. And the more time that has gone on since Paris, the easier it has become. So why do we do this all? Well, it's different for everyone. But for me, it's all about the amazing journey with the best team possible. And sometimes, as an athlete, it's easy to link your performance with your self-worth. So if you have a bad day, a bad race, a bad training session, or a bad Olympic Games, does that make you a bad person? No. We can't all get our fairy tale ending, and that's okay. And there's one phrase that I keep coming back to. Don't let the good days go to your head, and don't let the bad days go to your heart. So, sum it all up. Yes, let your ambitions soar and chase those dreams. But don't forget to keep your feet firmly planted, because I think that's key to enjoying the journey, managing the lows, and most importantly, building your long-term success. Thank you.